All right, we are back here on the podcast, wrapping up our Squid Game coverage. Squid Game season three and the series, as far as you know, is over with. Back with me today to wrap up our Squid Game coverage. We talked to him in January, February about season two, and he's one of my hosts of the Sky Guys podcast. Nick Fraietta is here. Nick, how are you?
Doing great. I really loved this show. I watched the whole thing in a matter of 7 months.
Yeah.
I watched season one like a week before season two dropped, so I just watched it and watched season two and then watched season three when it came out. So it was really cool to watch a show that quickly and catch up before the end. So really excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I will say this show, I will acknowledge this. I said this on the Sky Guys this week when we talked about it, tease this conversations. Like season two and three are basically two halves of the same book. And the way I look at it is that like this should have been one long 13 episode season two, but we chopped it in half for a reason. So Netflix got a second drop.
Yeah, it goes behind like this whole thing with hype and whatnot. They say it's season three, people are more excited if they want. It seems like Netflix is kind of shying away from their weekly release model, or excuse me, their binge release model, but they don't want to go full weekly yet. So, for example, they announced the Stranger Things release schedule for the end of the year, and it's all over the place. And people, a lot of people, I'm not one of these people, but a lot of people are very like, oh, why can't you just give it to us all at once? So, by doing the way they're doing Squid Game, it kind of hides it from people. So you're doing a release 6 months apart, but to your audience, it's, oh, you're just doing two seasons. They don't know.
Yeah. This is just where keep people on subscribe, basically, for this.
Yeah. This is really season two split into two releases, but you knew people were going to get mad about that, so you just called it season two and you called it season three, and now people are going to stick around to see what happens in season three.
Yeah, I would say that was interesting here. And your general thoughts on season three, because I feel like there was one of the best episodes of the series in season three. In particular, episode two, I think I loved, but like not entirely convinced they stuck the landing on this.
I liked the season a lot. I tend to agree that I think the last episode was a little underwhelming, but I can't really put my finger on why, because anytime I try to think of a reason, I immediately can come up with a reason as to why my reason is wrong.
Yeah.
So, for example, um, so, excuse me, not for example, just I liked the show, I liked the season, but for whatever reason I can't think of it. I'm just like, oh, the last episode. I'm not really, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely criticisms I have with the storylines. I feel like one storyline in particular was a waste of time, in my opinion, but I do think like the games themselves were very compelling and the drama that came from the games.
Oh yeah, I thought that the new games, which were there two or I guess three technically,
Technically three, because they sort of like revamped OG Squid Game and gave it a new spin.
yeah. But of those new games, well, all of them were really really good. Because they added a layer of complexity to all these games where it was like you could like well except for the jump rope one that was pretty simple, just get to the other side. But
There was a layer to that. If somebody tried to basically 4D chess it.
yeah, it's just that like the amount of thought that I had watching the hide and seek one
Yeah.
was like what's allowed, what's not allowed, could this person kill this person? And then when you see I'm sorry, the names are way escaping me, but Thanos' friend,
Yeah.
I don't remember the names, but when he worked together with another guy and killed someone, and then they realized, wait, we can kill more people. We don't have to leave. We don't have to stop.
Yeah.
Like things like that just kept popping up in that hide and seek one, which is why I really loved that game. Because there were so many things that you're just like I'm sitting there thinking, what's the point of the keys? Who cares?
Yeah.
And then when you watch it happen, you're like, oh, okay, now I understand. They can actually leave
Yeah.
if they find their way, which seemed to be very, very hard to do. It seems like only a handful of people found the way out. And then they have all these different types of keys, and you don't realize that you need to find people with the different shapes and really, really intricate and really in-depth, really fantastic game.
Yeah. Great stuff going on here. I'll talk about these games particularly here. Hide and Seek, particularly episode two, was I think the highlight of the season for me, where like you get the fourth game, which is Hide and Seek, where you get split, drawn into two groups here, where like you have the people who are hiding and they have the keys and they can find a way out of like this room in 30 minutes, and you need either a circle, square, or triangle key on you to open doors. You need all three to get to the main exit. And you have the it's like the Seekers who are the red team, and they have knives. They have to kill each have to kill one person to get out of the room and get out alive. So this drama was interesting. You got a lot of the main characters split up into sides. You have people trading off here. The drama came out of this game where it mentioned like Minsu, like the guy who was like strung out as all hell. You have you have you had the main character basically like looking for 388 because he felt he screwed him on the mission to stop the games. You have the baby being born. You have the mother and son drama where the son is trying to kill somebody just to get out. He can't do it. Like there's all sorts of craziness in the second game.
Yeah, it's really, really, really well done. There's so many different angles going on. I remember saying, as it started, I said, he's going to be forced to either kill his mom or he's going to die.
Yeah,
And I was pretty close. I wasn't right. I ended up being wrong because his mom ended up killing him, but it was pretty damn close.
yeah. That
And just a fantastic game, really was. Like you mentioned, there was so much drama behind it. And there were so many, as I mentioned earlier, there's so many little things you're like, oh, I didn't realize that. Like at the beginning, when they're drawing teams, I'm thinking one team wins, one team loses, everyone on one team is gonna die. And I'm like, okay, based on this, this team has to die. Then they're all switching teams, and I'm like, wait a minute, these guys can't die. Like there are some characters that you look at and you're like, you can't lose all of them in this episode. They have too much story with them. You know what I mean? So then I realized, oh, so it's not going to be the whole team that dies. It's going to be certain people. And then you start seeing it happen, and you realize all these different things about the game. Like they need to kill someone, but if they kill more than one person, then they can do that. And then if you kill more than one person, it means someone on the killing team won't get to kill someone.
yeah,
And on the flip side, the hiders could, in theory, steal the knife and kill you.
yeah,
So there's just so many things behind. There's so many different ways to look at it.
yeah. Nick is big on these Squid Games metagaming.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will also say, like, you lose some big characters in this game here. 120 was the transgender woman dies here. You lose the son. The shaman lady, like, she gives you one of the funniest moments of the whole series where she's like leading a crew around and like opens a door and then sees like some seekers there and just sprints away and then they all get killed. Like, that was funny. And then she dies too. So, like, you lose some major characters in this episode.
And you lose that son too.
Yeah, because what happens is the baby gets born. The son had swapped with his mother, who was originally on the kill team, says, I can do it. He can't do it. He gets to the end and sees like Junhee there with the baby. Says, I have to kill her to get through. His mom won't let him. And then he gets killed at the end because he cannot kill him before the time expires. So
Right.
crazy.
And what makes what's funny to me, she mentions, oh, I have like a weapon, like it's her hair tie, right?
Yeah.
And in every show ever, if someone were to mention that before it starts, you know it's gonna come up, right?
Yep.
I would love to see a show where they just mention something like that and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Just
Chekhov's gun always gets fired.
what's that?
The Chekhov's gun always gets fired.
Oh yeah, yeah. It would be nice if it was like, wouldn't that be kind of cool though? Like if they mention things that don't matter,
Yeah.
just to throw you off a little red herring, but it mattered. And it was an honestly fantastic game. I think my favorite game of the season for sure. Probably my second or third favorite game in the whole show.
My favorite episode of the entire show, I think, is that episode.
Probably, yeah, probably my favorite episode as well. My favorite game overall was probably the Mingle,
Yeah, Mingle was great.
and maybe the first game ever, the red light, green light, the first time, because it really just like it really dawns on you like, oh my God, these people are actually dying.
Yeah. That one, and a shout to the marbles too in season one.
Oh yeah, great game as well. But that one, the game wasn't as good as it just was like,
Great episode.
yeah, great episode with great drama.
Yep. And we get to also see like game five is the instead of the glass bridge, it's basically the jump rope game. And like this the drama comes out of this is that June Hee basically broke her ankle in this one. Gi-hoon basically says, I'm gonna get the baby across because the terrible VIPs there and it's like, okay, the baby's a player. The baby has to like get across the bridge to survive. So Gi-hoon brings the baby across, wants to go back for her, but like one of the other players, I think it's 96, says, I'm going to play defense. I'm just going to knock everybody off the bridge and like sort of like cut this down to the point where me and Gi-hoon can split the money and leave. So fun like element there to sort of see like somebody again trying to game the system.
I mean, listen, is it a terrible thing to do? Absolutely, he's killing people, but like, pretty smart, right? I mean, if you don't kill the people, you're gonna die. So it's not a situation where your morals go out the window at that point, right?
Yeah, you know, so, and we see it later on with like the whole concept of the baby, but like, th-
Right, but I mean, as terrible as it is, smart idea.
yeah, yeah, Gyu ends up killing him. By the time like the end comes here, we see MG coin a crypto guy who is Junhee's ex, tries to convince her to come across. She refuses to go with him. Gi-hoon wants to go back, and she basically takes her own life so that Gi-hoon can protect the baby. So another big character goes out here too.
Yeah, and you knew, I think you knew she was gonna go at some point, just because of all the play. I mean, you kind of knew everyone was gonna go,
Yeah,
considering of all the players, and I gotta kill a baby.
yeah,
You kind of knew that was gonna happen, but how you arrived there is the story.
yeah. I mean, like when you see that she's got like a fractured ankle and the game is jump rope, I think that's basically the sign that okay, she's gone.
Yep, unless they found a way to have her on someone's back while they jump, but that's just ridiculous, you know?
Well, Gi-hoon wanted to do that, but he couldn't get back in time.
Yeah, but he couldn't. He's not that strong.
Yeah, and we see that 9 people are left at this point. There are 8 original players, and the VIPs say the baby should stay in the game as a player. And this is one of the most dramatic scenes of the whole show, where like we see that the like basically one side is basically Gi-hoon, like the tripped out Min-soo and the baby, and then the 6 other guys are there, led by 100, who's like a piece of shit. And they realize oh my God, like we can't let this baby have our share of the money. They want to kill the baby, and then they have to, the front man, Ilho basically says I has to use his guard to make sure the baby doesn't die before the game starts.
Yeah, the 100 reminds me of the guy from season one who was like the mafia guy. A
Yeah,
little bit, except I guess he wasn't really involved in a gang. He was just an older gentleman who was kind of an ass.
yeah, he has a lot of debt.
A lot of that, that's right. And it's crazy how the greed gets you. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm constantly on my phone the entire show looking up how much what the conversion is to USD. Like every time they announce any sort of money, I always want to know what it would be. And every time I'm like, oh my God, just hit the red button.
Yeah,
But the greed gets you.
yeah. Or I think like 100 specifically, it was like his debt was just so much, or like he was like be down to like 3 people in the game to ensure he had enough money to cover his debts.
You know, as they say, greed will imprison us all.
It will here, and we get the dinner scene was fun where we see like them like feed the baby like having one of the pink guards feed the baby and we get this great offer from one of the interesting sequences of this old show is like Gi-hoon gets brought to the front man's office to finally get the reveal to him that is Ilho and he basically says to him okay I'm giving you a knife like kill everybody else in the game the final game can't run if there's only 2 people in it and then you and the baby leave with all the money. And we found in the past that Ilho actually got this all from the original like front man, who was the old man from season one, takes him up on it and gets basically brought into the game. Gion can't do it. So I think this is sort of an interesting sort of parallel to see like that Ilho basically realizes like I have to kill people to survive and Gion still can't do it.
Reminds me of Luke Skywalker,
Yeah. Killing
right? Being tempted by the Emperor at the end of Return of the Jedi to do exactly what his father did, but he won't do it.
Yep,
You failed, Your Highness.
that is
Same
correct.
idea.
It's a fun idea here, and we get the final game, which is Squid Game in the sky, and you end up on 3 pillars. You have to throw somebody off, at least one person off every pillar to ensure you survive. And you have to land at least 3 people to 6. Guillaume basically takes the baby and says, "Okay, you throw both of us off. One of you 6, the other 6 of a line against them and Minsu. Say, okay." You have to turn on each other in that case. They throw Minsu off the first tower. Then the second tower is all the chaos breaks out where I think MG Coin basically flips and they basically murder a bunch of people. And seeing this the remnants of that alliance turn on each other to try and survive was crazy stuff.
And you knew it would come, right? With all the greed.
Yeah. Where I think like they basically have this whole thing where they're trying to separate Gi-hoon from the baby, doesn't work. MG coin flips, kills one, and then a couple of the other guys beat each other up. They throw 100 off the cliff, and one of the guys basically gets beaten to a pulp and say, "Okay, our strategy, we're going to drag this crippled guy across the bridge, and he's our like sacrificial lamb to win the game." Then he says, "I'm not doing this." Basically, throws himself off and leaves us at a prisoner's dilemma on the final one.
Yeah, and then they get into their big battle in the final one, and they don't hit the button. You know, hit the green button or the button to start the game. So when the eventually the father of the baby is killed in an attempt to
We know how
so
we know how terrible MG coin is.
yeah, he's very terrible. I mean, it's your own kid.
He was willing to kill his own child. Not even
Yep.
like right, to the point where Gi-hoon's like, I will step off and you can live with the baby and take the money. That was not good enough for him. He needed all the money for himself.
Right. I mean, like at the end of the day, if it's your kid, like you're getting all the money anyway. You know what I mean?
It's like this made no sense to me because like I get that he's a piece of shit, but at the same time, like as you said, this is your child. Like you're
Yeah,
like
like in reality, the mother's gone. You now have custody of the child. You would leave with the custody of the child. Your winnings and the child's winnings would
just
be all
all
part of the household. It would just you basically win it all anyway.
yeah, it's the whole pot.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna. It's not like the Squid Game. I'm sure is not gonna be dramatic. Like, okay, we're putting the babies in a trust fund. The baby can't act until he's 18.
Maybe that is the case. I doubt it, but maybe that is.
Maybe that's where his mind goes in this situation.
I don't know, wherever his mind was, but it's at this point, it's what, 23 billion won?
Each.
Right, which translates to, for the audience to USD. That is um maybe 16, 17 million dollars
Yeah, so murdering your child
each.
for 17 million bucks, this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think it's very fitting that like obviously like Gi-hoon wins the scramble, but they don't you said they don't hit the button and somebody still has to die to end the game. So he just steps off to make a point to Ilho and say, okay, I'm stepping off for the good of this baby. And the baby wins Squid Game.
that's right.
Yep.
Baby is a champion. 46 billion translates to roughly 35 million, 35 billion, sorry, 35 million USD.
Yep.
It's a nice living.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what's crazy though that I'm watching this? I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, and you'll understand as in reality, Just End the Suffering is mostly a sports podcast here.
Yep.
You're watching this and I'm like, Juan Soto makes double this in a season.
Yep.
In a season, and these guys are killing each other over half of his earnings in a season.
Yeah.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It is. Now I can get to my criticisms of this final season.
Sure, I got a big feeling that we don't agree on the criticism here.
Okay, number one, the Junho storyline, the cop storyline. What was the point of this storyline? We spent the entire
Do
season
you
with.
want me to tell you, or do you want to argue your point first? Because I know where your head's at, and I know the answer.
I'll argue my point first because we spend the whole season with him trying to find the island. We waste like 4 episodes on Captain Park is a good guy, and Captain Park is the mole and basically murders all of his guys. And then he gets to the island, sees his brother, and just says, "Hey," and then lets him go down a shaft with the baby, and then that's it. Nothing happens out of this storyline.
Well, you could argue that he lost, right?
I argue we lost. Why we waste so much time on this?
Because it proves that the game is unbeatable.
Yeah,
I think that's the point of his storyline. It proves that the game cannot be beaten. Even when he finds the island and is there to expose, he knows who's running it. He knows what they're doing. He has the winner in his hands at the end, at least. He still can't stop it. It's that powerful. They still got off. They're all alive. They're all ready to do this again elsewhere.
yeah,
I think that's the point of his storyline is that the game cannot be stopped.
yeah. I just think for me, it's like we didn't need the entire season wasting time doing that. Like we spent so much time like wasting time on the boat with is Captain Park a good guy? Is Captain Park not a good guy? And then we see the other mobster get arrested for like going into his house, and then like by the time we get to this, it's just like, okay, we could have like this could have been an email.
I enjoyed it though. I thought it was showed us that the game can't be stopped. And I
Yep.
thought that was an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, that happens because obviously at the end, like they blow the island up basically. They blow the facility up to make sure that like there's no evidence of what's going on here. We see that Juno ends up with the baby and the money, which is a wild ending here because like did Ilho grow a heart when he was on like he saw his brother and says, "This is the perfect person to raise this child."
Could have been, but you know that he lives on, and so do the games.
Yeah,
So I think it's irrelevant to him. And maybe this is more of a leave me alone.
yeah.
Here, you have your money. You take care of this kid. You have a responsibility now. Leave me alone. We're going elsewhere to continue these games, which I would only imagine is America, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's number one. Number two, the VIP like dialogue was horrible.
I
Like
agree.
it was the worst. It takes you out of it so much because it was like from what I could gather, it seemed like that they were sort of like trying to translate the Korean into American and having the Americans like read the dub translation and like it did not work whatsoever.
I agree. I thought the female VIP was the worst character of the show.
Yeah, I would say like she was pretty bad.
I was really, really disappointed in that. I also don't like that when you're watching and you watch the show in Korean, right?
Yeah, I always watching the sub. I watch the subtitles.
Yeah, the only time I would ever watch it in English with the dub is if like I'm really busy with something, in which case I'm probably just gonna pause it anyway. But you know what I mean? So I watch it in Korean as well. And so with the subtitles, but those parts, since they're in English, don't have subtitles, and that really pissed me off.
Yeah, yeah, because
And also, as you mentioned, the dialogue was just atrocious with them.
yeah, it's like it made no it like it literally it sounded like very poorly translated. We're just gonna read it out off the script.
But doesn't make any sense to me. Was I understand the dialogue was bad, and your point makes sense as to why. It seems like they were reading it bad too, like they were reading poorly, as if the acting was bad.
They don't give him bad direction on that
It was just really, really bad all around with the VIPs, and they're definitely my LVPs of the season.
of the series.
Yeah, specifically this season though, more than the others.
Yeah, they were problematic here. We also see like Ilho goes around basically after the season, sort of like collecting, like dropping off things, drops the baby off. He goes and finds Gi-hoon's daughter in LA and gives her what's left of his money and his tracksuit. So that ties that storyline up here. And then we get this really weird scene where we see the American version of like Squid Game recruiting with Kate Blanchett being the recruiter playing Dokji in an alley with a homeless guy. So this would felt jarring, where it's like that's a way too recognizable actor to be doing this.
Could have been. Yeah, I mean, to me, this is very clear. This is the plan for the future of the show. That doesn't mean they'll actually do it. If you remember, you were a big How I Met Your Mother fan, right?
Yep,
In the last season, they had an episode with Barney and those two guys, and that was supposed to be the spinoff, but that never happened.
I do that. That is not canon, actually.
What do you mean, Canon?
That is not what the planned spinoff was.
That's what everyone said at the time.
Yeah. No, they had this whole separate idea of like a separate set of characters, but that was not in the original show.
All right, well, that's what everyone thought, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe at least 99% of people thought that. So that was the idea, and that's what I think this is as well, is this is the plan. That the not necessarily the plan and what they're going to be doing, but this is the idea that they have. Is we can move Squid Game to America, and I would only imagine this is the same thing. This is the same game. They were relocating at the end of the season anyway, so I'm assuming this is where they went.
I think this is more of a sense of like maybe the Korean version of the Squid Game is over, but like there are other Squid Games going on around the world. We have to be stumbled upon recruiting for the American version.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think you're right, but but like they left at the end of that season, and they still have everything, and they're all still together. I think that it's kind of supposed to be kind of both, if that makes sense.
You think there's like a second Korean island somewhere they're going to and do this?
No, I think they came to America, and there is an American version of the game, and it's like all in one. I think there's, like you mentioned, I think there's a bunch of different games all over the place,
Yeah.
and I think that the Korean game is going to continue, but I don't think we're going to be seeing the main head leader, whatever you call him anymore, player one,
The front man.
front man. I don't think we're going to be seeing him again. I think that, and I don't know if we'll have another season. I just think they left the door open. If they want to do another season, this is how they can continue the games.
Yeah, I believe that there has been talks of an American version with Ridley Scott directing it, but it's not really gotten off the ground yet. I think they're gonna do it eventually because I think they want to keep the IP going. I know they're keeping the reality show version going into the season two coming in November, but I don't think we need more of it. I feel like if we try and do an American version, it's gonna be terrible.
So yeah, that was my question to you. Do you think that Squid Game is successful because of the Korean aspect of it? Or is that a big, do you think that's a big part of it? Like, what do you think?
I think it's a big part of it. And I think like the scene we saw at the end there where like Kate Blanchett is playing Dakji and Ali, like if we're gonna try and copy the Korean games, I feel like this is gonna be a massive failure. I feel like this like if you want it to be American thing, you gotta have its like American style games or like Doc see you would never see like a random dude playing Dakji in a back alley in LA.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. There is no, like, I don't, I half, so I didn't know what that game was. You know what I mean? Until the show.
Yeah. Like you would
I
like
had no idea.
I think if we're just gonna try and like rip it off and like do the American version of it, like what are we gonna show us that we have not seen the the creators would probably execute better?
Yeah, in my mind, this is just this is a leave the door open for what we may do in the future type thing. And then there's also the thing in the back of all of our minds that they're planning to do an American version, perhaps, or at least that's a rumor. This may be it. But in reality, I think of this more as a the door's open to do whatever, and the front man can see when he sees her, oh, this is still going strong. We're still winning.
Yeah, that's true. So like I do think that's a possibility of happening here because remember too, this IP is gone. It was in the Stranger Things IP at the end of the year. So you would think if they want to keep those subscribers, the spin-offs might be coming.
Yeah, they definitely need to do something. I mean, I was thinking the same thing as you. Like after this, or excuse me, after the end of the year, I guess New Year's Eve specifically is the last Stranger Things episode, right?
Yeah. I
So
mean
at the end of the year, they're gonna lose their. I think those are their two biggest shows, right?
yeah. Two biggest of all time are those two shows. I mean, they still have Wednesday doing well. Like they have some other shows like The Diplomat and Night Agent, nowhere near the level of success as like these two shows.
Yeah, they'll have to do something. And overall, this show did it stick the landing? I don't want to say no, but not yes. If that makes sense. Overall, I'm very satisfied with Squid Game. I think it was a great show. I'd recommend it to anybody. But I think the last episode and like how it wrapped up was kind of just like, eh.
Little clunky.
Yeah, but I definitely recommend the show to anyone who hasn't seen it. I think you agree as well. It's definitely worth a watch, and the ending doesn't insult the show. It's a little subpar.
It's worth the like it's worth the ride. You may not be happy how you land, but I think you'll enjoy the ride of the whole show.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't really know when I'm watching that last episode specifically what would I have liked to see that I didn't see. Like I think it kind of works out. Like if you think about it, like I'm mad at first, like oh man, they didn't he didn't even stop the games. They're still going. Well, yeah, that's kind of the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like one man's not
So
going
like
to stop this operation by himself.
yeah, so this is a big operation. It does make sense. So like nothing doesn't make sense. It's just a little underwhelming, not as exciting as it could have been.
Absolutely here. And did you ever check out the reality show version of this?
I think I watched the first episode.
Yeah. I will say, like, I'm curious to see how season two does because, like, they ended it terribly. I think the final game for that was rock, paper, scissors in the original version. But I did see the teaser for season two. They did bring in the games from season two of the Netflix of the actual show into this. So you see, especially like, we see the relay race game from season two in the reality show version coming.
Well, I guess any of the games are possible, right?
Yeah, like I know they think the only one they changed, I think it's season one of the reality show. I think they changed tug of war to battleship, basically.
But anything in theory could be possible because like
Correct.
anything like for example, red light, green light was in the first episode, and instead of getting shot, you just have like the paint blow up like you used to rob the bank.
Yeah, the exploding die pack.
Yeah, so it's anything is possible. There's not, even the glass bridge. Did they do that in the reality show?
They did.
So yeah, they just probably have the fall be 10 feet instead of
It,
however far.
it was a trap door, and I believe like they said that it was like a stunt doubles did it.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't really watched it much as like I don't know. I guess I'm not really interested in the reality aspect of it. I'm more I don't I guess I'm more interested in I don't know, maybe you're right. I think it might have been just the Korean aspect of it that made me like it. Like if it was all American, would I like it?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's something we will never find out because even if they do make an American version, we're not going to find out because well, we've already have the Squid Game Korea in our minds. Like if this came out as an American show to begin with, I don't know.
I don't know, but Nick, thanks for all the time. Really appreciate you stopping by to help wrap up this Squid Game stuff. People want
But
to,
one last thing on the Squid Games before we go.
yeah,
When the show came out originally, it was like it was the word I'm looking for, like the COVID world. It was 2020 and 2021 were just these years where everyone just stayed in and watched Netflix, right?
yeah.
Do you think that helped this show a lot? Do you think it would be not as popular if people were not forced inside for a lot of it? Now, this came out at
It was in
the fall.
20, late 2020, I think.
It was fall of 2021, actually. I thought it was 2022, but when I'm looking at 2020 also, but when I'm looking it up, it says it was 2021. So I guess not everyone was forced inside at that point, but there were still a lot of people who were choosing to be inside. Do you think that really helped this show, or do you think if it wasn't for this pandemic and stuff, this show wouldn't really have kicked off?
I just think it's happening because one of things happened to just catch fire on Netflix. And somebody found it and told their friends, they told their friends, they just sort of like went nuts that way.
Yeah, because it's not really made for our audience.
No, it's made for a Korean audience. It just happened to be like, and it was definitely designed to be one and done, but like
And
it was
yeah,
just
and you can
popular more.
see in the second and third season how it's Americanized.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's entirely possible there. But thanks for coming by. People want to follow you on this, follow us on the Sky Guys. How can you do that?
Follow at Sky Guys Podcast all over the social media.
All right, Nick. Thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Bye.